The movie opens in the sparkling blue waters of the Bahamas, where Jared is free diving, collecting artifacts from the ocean floor. He's a local who dreams of discovering sunken treasure one day but currently scrapes by working odd jobs and guiding tourists. After surfacing, he returns to shore, where we see his modest life. He lives in a small rundown trailer, works part-time at a marine theme park, and spends the rest of his time in the water. Jared is deeply in love with Sam, who works as a shark handler at the theme park. She's devoted to him and supportive of his dream of finding treasure, even though it often seems out of reach. Sam is level-headed and content with their simple life, while Jared feels the weight of not being able to provide more for her. That day, Jared learns he's lost his job at the theme park because he showed up late too many times. Despite the bad news, he stays upbeat and goes to meet Sam at her work. He playfully teases her while she's inside a tank feeding sharks, and it's clear the two share an easy affectionate bond. Later, they head to the airport to pick up Jared's old friend Bryce and Bryce's girlfriend Amanda, who are visiting from the mainland. Bryce is loud, flashy, and clearly wealthy, a sharp contrast to Jared. He arrives carrying expensive luggage and flaunting his money, but he's genuinely happy to see Jared. Later, Bryce rents a big sleek yacht and insists they all go out on the water for some fun. Jared suggests taking them to a spot he knows, where he's seen interesting wreckage on the seabed before. Bryce is just looking to party and impress Amanda, but Jared sees it as an opportunity to get closer to his dream. Once they anchor in a secluded area, the four of them dive into the turquoise water. Jared and Sam dive deeper, using their expertise to explore the seabed, while Bryce and Amanda mostly splash around and play closer to the surface. Jared starts noticing signs of a shipwreck and pottery half buried in the sand. It looks like the remains of a centuries-old ship, possibly full of treasure. As they continue to investigate, they spot something unexpected nearby, the wreckage of a small modern airplane. They swim closer and realizes the plane is loaded with large sealed packages. Opening one of them, they see it's full of bricks of illegal powder. After swimming back to their yacht, the group sits together, tense and wet, and begins to discuss what to do about their discovery. Bryce and Amanda are immediately excited by the stash of illegal substances they found in the wrecked plane. They talk about how much it might be worth and how they could sell it to make a fortune quickly. Amanda especially pushes the idea, eager for fast money. But Sam is clearly uncomfortable with the direction of the conversation. She warns them that whoever lost the substances is not going to simply let it go. These are dangerous people who are certainly looking for it. She insists that they leave it alone, saying they shouldn't even touch it, and she doesn't want to be involved in anything illegal. Jared sides with Sam and reminds them all that there are better ways to make money, like searching for real treasure in the seabed instead of getting mixed up with illegal substances. He urges Bryce to stay focused and says they should steer clear of the wreckage. Later that evening, back at the house Bryce has rented, the group is still talking about what to do. Bryce and Amanda are still leaning toward finding a way to sell the substances, while Jared and Sam remain against it. Sam again warns them that anyone missing that much substance will come looking. Jared tells Bryce to forget about the wreck and focus on the legitimate treasure hunt. The next day, Bryce admits the truth to Jared in private. He confesses that he's not really rich, all his money has been borrowed from some bad people, and now they're pressuring him to pay it back. Bryce says that if they can recover and sell the substances, he can settle his debts. Jared is visibly disappointed by Bryce's recklessness, but despite his anger, he reluctantly agrees to help his friend pay back the money. That day, they head back out to sea. Jared, Sam, Bryce, and Amanda swim down to the area and begin marking the seabed for treasure so they can explore it further. They're all searching along the seabed when Jared notices Amanda has disappeared. He checks with Sam and Bryce on the yacht, but Amanda isn't with them either. Jared realizes she must have gone into the wreckage on her own. He swims to the wrecked plane and finds her trapped inside, her air tank empty. She had gotten herself stuck while trying to retrieve something from inside. Jared manages to pull her free and bring her back to the surface. Bryce is visibly upset with her for sneaking off, but Amanda swears she didn't take anything from the wreck. Later, back at the house, the group examines some artifacts they did find, including an old 1800s firearm and a silver horn with what appears to be a map etched into it. Jared grows excited at the idea that they may have discovered clues to a shipwreck full of treasure. The next day, the group returns to the water. This time Jared, Bryce, and Sam dive down, leaving Amanda on the yacht to keep watch for other boats. They find something promising underwater, and start tying it up so they can haul it to the surface. While they're still underwater, a patrol boat pulls up alongside the yacht. The officers board the yacht and begin to search it. Amanda acts calm, claiming she's just sunbathing while the others are diving. Below, Jared, Sam, and Bryce see what's happening and try to stay hidden beneath the water to avoid being seen. As they work, disaster strikes. The heavy stone pillar suddenly shifts and falls, pinning Bryce's arm to the seabed. To make matters worse, their air tanks are running out. Jared struggles to free Bryce, finally managing to lift the pillar and pull him free. The three of them quickly surface just as the ocean police finish their search. Fortunately, the captain of the patrol boat recognizes Jared and Sam, as they are known in the area, and decides to let them go without incident. That evening, relieved but still tense, the group heads to a local club to unwind. They drink, dance, and try to shake off the stress of the day. But the atmosphere darkens when a local man quietly warns Jared that some unfamiliar dangerous-looking men have been asking about him and where he's been diving, a clear indication that whoever owns the powder is starting to look for it. Meanwhile, Bryce notices Amanda flirting openly with another man in the club. Fueled by jealousy and frustration, Bryce confronts the man, and a fight breaks out. Jared steps in and drags Bryce out of the club before things get worse. The next day, the group returns to the sea again. Unaware that men are watching them from a distance, tracking their movements. When they surface and return to the yacht, Jared notices something unsettling, a baseball cap left on deck that he recognizes. It doesn't belong to anyone in their group, which confirms his suspicion that someone has been on their boat while they were underwater. Later, Jared decides to confront the man he suspects is behind this harassment, Bates, a wealthy and ruthless local treasure hunter who has a reputation for playing dirty. Jared visits Bates and warns him, telling him to tell his boys to back off. Bates remains calm, but Jared makes his point and leaves. That evening, tension builds between Jared and Bryce. Bryce is growing impatient and desperate, especially after Jared refuses to get involved with the substances. He then reminds Jared of the substances and how much they're worth, trying to persuade him to sell them so they can make quick money. He even throws Sam into the conversation, suggesting that if Jared can't provide for her or give her the life she deserves, she might eventually leave him. Jared, visibly irritated but still standing firm, insists they find a way to make money honestly. But Bryce doesn't take no for an answer. Later that night, after realizing Jared won't help, Bryce and Amanda sneak back out to the ocean on their own. Bryce dives back into the wrecked plane to retrieve more of the substances while Amanda keeps watch from the yacht. The next day, Amanda goes alone to the local club to try and sell the substances she and Bryce retrieved. But the deal goes bad, the locals she tries to sell to are clearly dangerous, and things don't go as planned. Not long after, Jared gets a call from Bryce, telling him to come out to the sea immediately. When Jared arrives at the location Bryce gives him, he finds Bryce and Amanda being held captive by a local gangster named Reyes and his men. The gangster demands that they return all of his substances within 24 hours, or he'll kill them. Jared is furious and disgusted, but he doesn't have a choice, the threat is real. That evening, when they explain everything to Sam back at the docks, she's had enough. She decides to leave, telling Jared she wants nothing to do with this mess. Jared begs her to stay, but Sam has already made up her mind. Later, Jared, Bryce, and Amanda go back out into the water. First, they continue searching for treasure, hoping to salvage something valuable before turning their attention back to the illegal substances. They collect all the substances they can find and stash it in the tent underwater. But while they're retrieving the last substances, a shark suddenly appears and attacks Amanda, biting her badly. Jared and Bryce manage to pull her out of the water and rush her to the hospital, abandoning the illegal substances in the process. The next day, Sam visits them in the hospital and is relieved that Jared wasn't hurt. But the trouble isn't over. Jared soon gets a call from Primo, asking if he has the substances. When Jared says no, Primo suddenly appears, forcing Jared, Bryce, and Sam to drive away as fast as they can. Jared eventually stops the car and tells Bryce and Sam to keep going while he stays behind to buy more time. Later, Jared goes with Bryce to Reyes's yacht to deliver what they could salvage, but something's wrong. Blood is everywhere on the boat, and Reyes's men are dead. Primo is shot and killed right in front of them by an unseen attacker. When Jared checks on Primo's body, Bates suddenly appears with his men. Jared realizes it was Bates who killed everyone. He runs from the yacht, dives into the ocean, and swims deep until Bates and his men lose track of him. Meanwhile, Sam decides to go to Roy, the friendly local officer they know, to report what's happened and ask for help. Roy scolds her for getting tangled up with criminals but agrees to help. Later, Roy introduces Sam to someone he claims can clear their names, but it turns out to be Bates, confirming his reach and influence. At the same time, Jared meets with Bryce and asks where Sam is. Bryce reluctantly admits that she went to Roy for help. Jared calls Sam's phone, but Bates answers. Bates tells Jared that if he wants Sam back unharmed, He must give him his substances. Jared agrees and gives him coordinates. Later, Jared meets Bates and his men at sea, and they set out to recover the illegal substances. When they reach the site, they find that many of the substance bags have already been cut open and spilled into the ocean. Seizing the moment, Jared jumps off the boat and dives deep into the water, knowing Bates will follow him. Bates and his armed divers pursue Jared to the wreck. Meanwhile, Sam, who is still on Bates's yacht, finds a machete and sabotages the engine room by cutting pipes. When one of Bates's men comes to check, she locks him inside and escapes. Below, Jared watches Bates and his men explore the wrecked plane. When Bates enters, Jared ambushes him and they struggle underwater. Jared manages to swim out just as the wreck explodes, killing Bates and his remaining men. 6 weeks later, Jared and Sam are back in the water, diving together. They work to haul a heavy stone pillar out of the ocean, but it's too heavy for their boat and it crashes back into the sea. When it hits the seabed, it cracks open part of a wreck, revealing a hidden chamber full of gold. Bryce dives down, overjoyed, and shouts to everyone that they've finally found treasure. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe for more notifications. Until next time. See you soon.